20 seconds. 10 seconds.
'My name's J.C. McCauley.
I'm Naisha McCauley, and you're watching AccessTV.org.
All right, my friends, once again, it is indeed time to get our talk on. This morning, talk with me, your host, J.C. McCauley, along with the champions of talk. This morning, talk champion in the house, none other than the one and only Cleo Duke-Wright. Good morning, Miss Cleo. How are you?
Good morning, Stan. I'm doing pretty good this morning.
You doing good? How was your week?
Like usual, busy.
Busy week?
Have some new adventures going on that I'm excited
New
about.
adventures or inventions?
Why do you have to confuse me here? New adventures.
Adventure. I
New
thought you said new
adventures.
inventions. I said,
new
well, maybe you came up with some new
adventures.
Some adventures.
Yes.
So what new adventures did you have?
Well, I'm creating my Zoom program, Stories with Miss Cleo, that's gonna start or happen on the 13th of July. So invitations will be going out shortly for that. And I'm working with a woman who is disabled, and I'm learning new skills about how you move your bones around and your muscles around so you could maneuver yourself, and that's actually very exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Very tiring, but very exciting to learn new things. So those are the things that are happening to me. Plus, I still work with my young man every once in a while during the summer. Usually I have summers off, so I'm also doing that. So the new things that I'm learning, I could try on my husband, and do some exercises with him, and he seems to be enjoying that. So it's busy, and I'm tired, but I'm gonna get used to this.
Now there's bones moving around and stuff. What is that?
I never even thought of that. Like in her hands, and we move this bone, and you press this and you press that. I'm working with an OT, and you take, doing, I would call it the massage, but you sort of kind of grab this muscle and you push this down, and you push that down. So it's really, and I could actually feel the bones and the muscles moving. So I'm saying, wow. And she actually, and I can see a difference, which is amazing to me. I'm thinking of a skeleton. I'm saying you can really do these things, and pushing up your whatever this is, pushing up your fingers so you loosen them up so you could move them and different things. But you know what we don't, it's a very different, the many things we do with our hands and our bodies, we don't ever think anything about. But for someone who can't pick up a penny up off the table, and how hard it is, and how many muscles and manipulations you have to do when you're holding money in your hand and you're just taking one out at a time, and you're just doing this and putting it down. It seems so simple to us, but that's a very hard thing to do. So it's wow. And I'm saying, wow, we do a lot of things, we don't even think about them until we see someone who can't do them. So those are the things that I've done so far.
Well, when you were younger and you used to see, older folk doing this, you get up in the morning, sit on the edge of your bed, and you roll your arms. It's real. It seems joking when you're younger.
Yes.
The old people, Lord, I got that strength. You'll wake up in the morning, you thank God for the use of your limbs, and you move your hands, and you're in your right mind. All of that becomes real at a certain age. It ain't a joke anymore.
No.
It's like, can you remember? You come downstairs, forget what you came downstairs for, and you're looking around the house. You go back up, you say, oh, that's right, my glasses. And then they're on your head.
Yes. Oh, yes. We discussed that. That was a conversation yesterday, too. We also discussed Alzheimer's and the onset of starting to not remember things. And so we started talking about that. And, dementia. But I didn't know, and it's the onset of dementia. I didn't know one of the symptoms of the onset of dementia was getting irritable in the evening. They call that something.
Really? So a lot of people get the onset of dementia. You every night, nighttime comes, and the person is so irritable and so hard to get along with it. They say, what happened between daytime and nighttime? But I was informed that sometimes that is an onset. So I said, wow. Well,
I'm learning a lot, so.
Yeah, I was unaware of that. Someone was saying that there might be a link to diabetes and
dementia,
Alzheimer's, and stuff. So I don't know. There's a lot that they're finding out and discovering about the human machine. So divinely designed.
Very divinely designed.
Yeah. So.
And then learning how to maneuver this Zoom. Yeah. I almost called you, but I said no. I'm not gonna bother him. I'm gonna call somebody else.
You should call Dr. Bowen.
That's who I called.
Yeah, I was gonna say you should call Dr. Bowen.
I called Dr. Bowen, and she sent me videos, and so I've been studying those for a couple of days, and to get myself to see how well I do on the 13th.
All right. Well, if you want like overly detailed instruction, you call Angela.
Oh.
That's an inside joke. I'm just joking, Angela.
But they go so fast. They talk so fast. They go so fast. So that's why I have to do it over and over and over again. Because,
tape them.
Pardon?
Record them.
I mean, it's on a recording.
No. Oh, now wait a minute. The instructions that they gave you.
It's a YouTube.
Oh, well, you can always pause the YouTube. That's the beautiful thing about YouTube. And as a training vehicle, so you could just hit the pause button, and then execute, then unpause it.
Yeah, thank you. That's probably.
That way you don't have to keep watching it over and over again. The whole pause button.
There's a lot to it, a lot more than I thought.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you'll get it.
Oh yes, I'm gonna get it.
I always tell people, if you can type, then you can do anything. And I'm a horrible typist. You know, I type with two fingers. Believe it or not, I have a client. This client is probably my most faithful client I have had in all my years. And of doing work for clients. And I have a golden rule: the client is always right. Period. Doesn't matter who the client is. Client's paying you. They don't want to argue with you. If you think you know more than the client, then you don't need the client doesn't need you. So no matter how smart you think you are, the client knows exactly what they want. Period. And that's what they hire you. It's like hiring someone to paint your house. You say, I like to paint the interior room like a dark purple. Say, that's not going to work. Why don't we use a hot paint? He says, well, hold up. I know what I want. And they're going to argue with you. So this client of mine pays me by the hour to type. I said, you could do so much better with someone else, but they like working with me. I kid you not, they're here at least twice a month, sometimes 4 times a month, and they type. It takes me 20 minutes to type a page. I'm serious. I'm not joking. And I'm type with 2 fingers. Most of my clients, of course, pay me for my video stuff. He pays me to type. And I'm like, I'm literally like this. I said, why don't you get somebody else? No, I like working with you. I feel comfortable when I'm, no, and but he's you can't, the client never micromanages, but he micromanages. Everything you're doing, he's making a comment about. So maybe that, other people don't want you to comment while they're doing it. Just give me the work, let me do it. No. The client wants to comment on everything you do. That's why he pays you by the hour.
So that's why he's comfortable with you, because he would drive most people crazy.
It's impossible to drive me crazy if you're paying me. I can never wrap my head around the concept of the employee that pushes back. They're paying you. So I'm old-fashioned. I don't know. I'm old-fashioned. What can I say? But once you make your money, the big question is, what do you do with it after that? And that's a big problem, because lots of people don't have money because they spend every dime they make. So, to that end.
That was the lead.
You like that? You like that? It was smooth, right?
Like
you got years of
smooth.
practice. Don't try this at home, Miss Cleo.
That was really
To that end, we have a special guest. Miss Cleo has a special guest for us this morning. So we always give you the honor.
Yes, we have a special guest today, Dominic Lear. And he wrote a book called Zero to Investments in Less Than 60 Minutes. And the reason I was kind of intrigued when he gave me a call was I really hate investments. I don't want to look at those little numbers in the newspapers, and I never was interested in that. And it always seemed to be a dull thing, a boring thing, and a hard thing to do. But he has, at least he's trying to convince me, that I could do this in 60 minutes. I just never thought that was something I could do. And I think a lot of us think it's something you can't do. My brother is an investment banker. He is passionate about this, and he loves investments ever since he was a kid. And he's done that all his life. But I'm looking at him, I said, I can't do that. So Dominic is going to explain to us how we can do this in 60 minutes. Dominic, are you serious with me? What's going on?
I'm serious. And thank you all. Good morning. Thank you all for having me in that extra smooth segue, Stan. Appreciate that.
Anytime.
I'm learning right here. So yeah, it's a book to take a person that, just like you, Miss Cleo, is maybe intimidated by the stock market and investing, and taking them from not knowing anything or much of anything about investing to having a good, top level view of the market, and also giving them a strategy to invest in different means of investing within an hour. The book is pretty short. It's meant to not be intimidating, and it's meant for, a lot of the youth right now, sometimes including me, would have a shorter attention span. So I'm trying to get the masses involved and get people really ready to build wealth and change their lives.
So, what made you decide that you were going to put this down on paper and write this book?
So I have experience in financial services. I've spent years in financial services. So a lot of our friends and family come to me for advice and help with investments. And I usually will sit and have that conversation with them and give them that, hey, this is where you can start and this is where you want to be eventually, and this is why this is important. So my wife always told me, just, hey, put that on paper, and you could really help a lot of people. And I was kind of like, wow, do I really want to do all of that? Because writing before, I don't want to say intimidating, but I just never really saw myself doing it. But I just sat down and acted like I was, again, having a conversation with my friends and family, and the words just kind of flew out, and before I knew, the book was done.
Right, it's a very thin book. Could you just let me, some of the hold on, I dropped my glasses on the floor there. Just let me pick up my glasses, just one moment. If I can find them.
This is the beauty of live television.
It's lovely.
Okay.
They didn't break or anything.
There, I found them.
There we go.
So that their topics is what are stocks, the big picture, inflation. I think I did something. I read that one was inflation. Just tell us, where would you, when you say what are stocks, what are you, I'm just gonna.
I think that's a good question. Like what are stocks, and what's the difference between a stock and a bond?
A stock is is a share of a company. It's a literal share of a company. So you are literally a percentage owner of that company, based on how many shares of said company you buy. So you participate in the price appreciation or potentially depreciation of that company. So the market capitalization, basically how much that company's worth, how many shares outstanding you got out in the market, times the value per share is the market capitalization. So the value of the company goes up, you participate in that share appreciation, or the value of that company going up. If it goes down, unfortunately, you participate in that also. The difference between a stock and a bond is like a company or entity saying that I owe you. So you can buy said bond, and within a few years you would have some appreciation on that bond if everything goes right, if they're good on their credit.
Okay. Well, that makes sense. So I would imagine that's what, because the state of Connecticut just did all these bond sales. So if states and municipalities, in theory, I guess, not gonna run out of money because they get the money from the people. So if you buy a municipal bond or a state bond, they're borrowing money from you, and they will pay you back with the interest.
Correct.
And a company,
In theory.
But if you borrow, if you buy a company bonds, do those bonds go up or down, or it's like a flat rate? Like the interest doesn't necessarily go up if the company makes more money, or what?
So the terms of the bond are the terms of the bond. So you purchase the bond, and once that bond matures, or at the end of that life cycle of the bond, you're supposed to receive that interest. In between time, you're not held. they don't hold your hand to keep the bond. So in between time, you can sell or buy additional bonds. But that purchase price, the value of that bond in between time between them issuing out the bond and the maturity of the bond can fluctuate. Okay. So, if you're keeping it simple and saying, hey, I'm going to purchase this bond, I expect this yield to happen at the bond at the maturity of this bond, then that's one thing. But in between, if you say, hey, I'm going to need my money now, that bond price could have potentially went down or up in between time.
All right. So then it seems to me that if you do your homework, not that this gets easy, but if you do your homework, you can kind of, you could do well. But it's just not like you just guess at a stock or what's going to happen if you do the homework.
Right. So the homework can get very detailed. We just kind of touched the surface in a lot of things between stocks and bonds now, and it might have still went over some people's heads. So the purpose of the book is to keep everything very simple, meat and potatoes. So the average person can say, I don't need to know all that detail. I just need to believe in, hey, the economy does better over time. The United States market does better over time. And as long as I'm disciplined and I just continue, saving money for my future self, then, everything should be fine.
All right. So these things are meant to be more long-term than like right now.
Right. So the time horizon, ideally you want to have at least 10 years before you're trying to access the funds. So you want to let that money work for you, because over time, the book is really about index investing or investing in what's called the S&P 500. The S&P 500 is the top 500 companies in the United States. Okay. So they group those companies together, and those companies are a fair representation of the United States economy, right? So you got the biggest and best 500. Instead of trying to figure out, hey, stock A, I think it's going to do well. What does that mean? Do I have to look at like accounting numbers, or are my friends going to buy the product that this or service that this company does? Individually analyzing a stock takes a lot, okay? And even the most savvy professionals have trouble doing it. And to be honest, nobody's right 100% of the time. So you want to hedge your bets and just say, hey, the U.S. over time does well.
Interesting.
So you put your money in the simplest thing to do is put your money in the top 500. Or let somebody do that for you. Is that what you're saying?
Well, I'm trying to get the people to just say, hey, I can do this myself. All right? You have the resources available to you, and more resources are becoming available every day. It's not like before when you'd have to call up to a brokerage account, deal with a whole bunch of commissions and fees. You can open up like a simple Robinhood account or TD Ameritrade and say, hey, I'm just trying to invest into a S&P 500 fund. I give examples in the book of different funds available, and just set up some automatic deductions out of your paycheck. Or you can just say, every week or every other week, I'm going to invest X amount of dollars in it.
All right. So then the fear factor that people have is what you're helping folk get over. Because as you're talking now, it's not like the fear factor, but I get a sense, I'm having a sense of anxiety. Because you become your dad after a while. He was just here. And so I'm gonna go online, open an account, and then have them deduct money from my bank account into there, and I could feel the fear. I could feel the anxiety coming up. Like, how do I know who these people are? I mean, I just go online. It's like opening up a YouTube account, so to speak, and boom. So how do you get me over that sense of I don't know who these people are? Because you say you don't have to go to a broker.
So I'm not trying to discourage anyone from seeking professional help, but sometimes you might not have the means to it or the resources available. But there's so much information out there now. You can research and review the type of brokerage accounts that are available. And let's say you're employed and you have a retirement account available. Reach out to your human resources to see what those steps are to establishing that account. You might be automatically enrolled and don't even know it. So that's a good starting conversation to have. But if it depends on what type of learner you are with anything. You want to make it as easy as possible for yourself. So if you're a learner that you need to sit down and talk to somebody, like TD Ameritrade, a lot of these brokerage firms, they have actual physical locations where somebody may be able to help you out with starting the process. Go to your bank. You want to ask questions about any fees or any commissions that are associated with the account. But the information is out there. Just call somebody, talk to somebody, look everything up online, or if you are comfortable online, the process is pretty simple now. They give you step-by-step instructions, and there are a lot of different resources out there for say, hey, I want to invest in the market. I want to invest in the S&P 500. What are the steps? What are the funds available for me? Can I set up an automatic deduction? Okay. What does that mean? What information do you need from me? And then if you're uncomfortable, express that with whoever you're speaking to. And they should be able to address it. If they're not able to address it, then maybe you need to find someone else. There's plenty of options out there.
There's one place you say in the book, the extreme is rare.
Right. So to be plain, what I was addressing is somebody potentially losing all their money in the market or getting rich overnight. So those are the extremes. And,
okay.
And especially the getting rich overnight, that's going on a lot today with social media, with crypto, and everybody's a guru. You don't need to talk to a self-proclaimed guru to start investing. All right, just have a little patience, and you can be wealthy over time. And it doesn't have to be hard. You don't have to hit home runs. But let's say the other side, the negative extreme, losing all your money. All right, I'm talking about investing in blue chip stocks, a group of blue chip stocks. What blue chips means is you're dealing with companies that have been around, that have a great track record, and have been tested, and they're still here and still performing well. Okay, so when I say the extremes are rare, is if you are investing in some good companies, you're not going to really have to worry about that, right? If you're going off on the hinges, not even off on the hinges, but going off on a tip from somebody, and you're dealing with a company that really isn't transparent, doesn't have a track history, a record of being around, then you might just lose all your money. If you're dealing with exotic investments that you don't know about, and just to be plain,
all those people that went to prison.
See, that's another story. But crypto, I don't have a problem with crypto. But you need to know what you're doing.
Right.
You need to know what you're doing. And there are a lot of scams out there. So even if the crypto that you're trying to invest in is solid and they have good founders and there's a good plan behind it, the means of getting it can be tricky. So to actually get the investment, you might just be scammed. You need to know exactly what you're doing. So that's what I mean by the extremes. Now, if you participate in the extremes, then the extremes may be not that rare. But if you're investing in blue chip companies, then you should be fine over the long run.
Okay. So you're more likely not to get scammed if you're investing in the blue chip companies. You still can get scammed.
I mean, anything is possible. So we've had histories like Enron in the early 2000s. There have been some scandals with some large companies where you got all these professionals in Wall Street touting up these companies, and you find out something bad about the CEO or the business practices. Like Wells Fargo, there was a scandal recently with Wells Fargo with the management trying to encourage sales reps to do unethical activities, right? So the risk is there, but that's why I encourage people to invest in the S&P 500 because over 500 companies, your risk is hedged, right? One company, anything can happen. This morning, Apple just reached $3 trillion market capitalization. So the company of Apple is worth more than the GDP of many nations. Right. But let's say something happens with Tim Cook. He's the CEO of Apple. That stock may just dramatically decline in price and the market capitalization go down. So the risk is there, even with some big companies, established companies like Apple. That's why you want to hedge your bets.
So you don't want to put all your money. So if someone says to you, "Look, I got this like tip with GameStop, sell everything you have and put it all in," even if the tip was good, you don't want to sell everything you have and then dump all your money in one place, because it may not go up, it could go down, and then you lose everything. So when people think, well, I don't, you're going to lose everything. Well, it doesn't even seem logical that you would put everything you have into one stock like that.
Yeah, you said GameStop?
One company. Well, I mentioned GameStop. I was being a little facetious because if I'd have had them, but no one knew that was going to happen. So that even when it was happening, people really didn't know what was going to happen.
Right. And I love what happened over the pandemic. I love that GameStop happened. I love that people got rich off of crypto. I love these things because you're having conversations that people really didn't have before. And people are thinking, like, man, so and so made money off of GameStop, and they turned this into that. Hey, if you was in this and this token, this and this coin, this dude made a lot of money. But if you are going to, I'm not going to tell people what to do, right?
Right.
I would encourage that you have a solid plan, right? And then if you want to participate in something, a stock tip, know that you could lose all your money. But, sometimes it's better than going to the casino.
Absolutely.
What you don't want to do is say, hey, I've been investing in my 401k. I've been investing in my 403b. I got my mutual funds. I got my S&P 500. I'm going to stop that for a little bit, or I'm going to take some money out of that and put it into crypto or GameStop. Nah, you want to keep your discipline and let that money work for you, because this is over 100 years of data. Like the proof is in the pudding with the S&P 500. Crypto, they're talking, it's a lot of legislative pressure with crypto right now. And the GameStop situation, there may be rules changed with how people can invest that would hinder something like GameStop happening again. So you want to stick to the script of consistent investing in good products and good companies. But if you want to, take a risk, that's fine. I have no problem with risk, but just be calculated with risk. and don't go crying if it drops to zero.
Right. So I mean, you want to make sure you're that you know this is discretionary. What do you call it? Disposable kind of income stuff that you would, that you could play like your play money. Take a certain percentage of your earnings, and this is for mad money. Do mad things. We can invest it or spend it on something that don't make any sense, like a new toy or, but you can get some return for your money.
So if you're a young couple and you got a few children, and you want them to invest in their future and making sure they get the higher education, you're ready when they get for a higher education, you would go with the safer basically the safer stocks. Don't have a lot of money, but I want to sacrifice this so my children can have a future. I remember, in the 50s and 60s, they bought U.S. bonds. So when we got
U.S. savings bonds. Yeah, I remember those.
So when we got to be 18, 19, 20 years old, our parents went and gave us all these bonds that we turned in, and they made money for us. And especially, it was big during the war to get the savings bonds.
And put them in a safe place.
And put them, right.
Right. When I was at Pratt, you used to be able to buy a savings bond, and they would actually come with your, when the payroll checks would come out, and they would give you the bond at the same time, because that was, so I remember having them.
The physical
paper. Yeah, it was a physical
certificate.
Yeah, and it was like, it was worth, I think it was like $50, or I think it was a $25 or $50 or $100. But I remember $50 savings bonds, and then in 7 years, it turned into, I guess, $50. You could buy it at a particular price, and then it appreciated in value until it got to something. I vaguely remember, but.
And
when I was younger,
I have friends whose parents bought so many bonds that by the time they were grown, they had lots of bonds to turn in. But that's not something that you do today. There's other ways of earning money for young couples who want to secure a future for their children.
Yes, so I believe you get certain programs that'll give you some tax advantages. I think there's the Chet savings.
Chet, yeah, for the kids.
Right. For their education.
Education savings type bond. Things.
Right. Now, there's two ways of thinking about it. If you're starting off with a very young child, a baby, you got 18 years to let that money do something. Right. So you can lean on being more conservative, or you can take a little bit of risk because you have 20 years to do something, right? It depends on your risk tolerance, because even though you're saving up for your children, you're looking at the account. So if you're not comfortable with a lot of volatility, or any volatility at all in terms of a bond is just going to stick to the price, right? Like we discussed earlier. But you want to look at your goal and see what's feasible. Like, okay, if I'm only saving up a certain amount, will we be able to really make a difference in their education with what I'm saving without taking on some risk? So buying bonds might do the trick, depending on how much you're going to contribute to that savings program. But I wouldn't discourage taking on a little bit of risk, seeing that you got a 20 year time horizon.
That's all very, 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 very interesting. I think that a lot of people are afraid of money. They're afraid of. Oh, I shouldn't say they're necessarily afraid of money. I have found that people are afraid of what they don't know. And so since they don't know how to invest, they just decide, well, that's not for me. But most people that wind up with, I'm not talking about the trust fund folk. The people that started off with nothing and wound up with something. You got to start somewhere. There's no reason why you can't start right now and then grow your money. Just like, a couple gets married, you don't have anything. Then you buy your first piece of furniture, and then next thing you know, you got a room and this. Before long, you got so much furniture that when you move, you can leave stuff behind. Mm-hmm. And it just takes a little time.
If you grew up in a situation where you didn't have very much money, your parents just and they didn't have a relationship with money. I never had a relationship with money, and I really think that you need a relationship with money, because money's over here. All right, what am I going to spend this money on? No one ever
save it.
Well, yeah, you can save it, but if you never had anything, there's so many things that you think you want, you necessarily do not want, but you think you want them, and so you don't spend money wisely because you don't know how to spend money wisely. You don't even know what to do with money except to feed yourself, pay the rent. Then what?
Right.
So you grew up in a very marginal situation where your parents just had enough money to do what they needed to do to keep the roof over your head, and they never talked about money. So now here you are, graduating from high school, 18 years old. They put the first check, the paycheck in your hand that you have ever had. You're maybe still living with your parents at this point. What are you doing? I mean, your parents say put it in the bank, so you put it in the bank, but you really don't know what to do with the money or how to think about money. How do you begin to think about money? You almost make it as though the money's in control and not you, when you need to control it yourself, and you need to know what you're going to do with this, how much, blah, 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 blah. And I have friends whose parents taught them that. And so they were very methodical, but what about the kids who didn't? It takes a while to get a relationship with money, and to even know, you might not have shopped when you were coming up. You didn't really shop. Every once in a while you got a little money and you went to the store and you maybe bought something, but you didn't. No one took you shopping or anything like this. So do you understand what I'm saying?
I do.
You are completely lost when that first paycheck comes into your hands, and it takes a while. Now it's going to take years for you to figure out, sometimes really most of your life. And the regular things that people do might frighten you because you never had to deal with these people, and the people that your parents dealt with were not very nice. So it's a whole new world that you and you need help, and you need help to maneuver it.
You do.
So that's what you're looking at me still like, what are you talking about?
No, I mean, I'm just looking at you,
Yeah, but
because you're talking.
It's very, very scary. It is very, very scary. And then I'm just saying I can only talk about me. And then here you are, got all these bills. You're trying to be responsible, but you don't really know how to be responsible. Mm-hmm. So the pandemic comes, okay? You're out of work, and you get all this money, you're not working for the summer, so you get all this money into your bank account that you didn't even know you were getting because you never look at it, okay? So, and then you look at it and you say, oh my God, I got $5,000. What am I going to do with that? So then you kind of settle down. Now years have passed. Mm-hmm. It's a growing. You say, all right, I have to get responsible. I want to get responsible. I want to do this. I want to do this. I want to do this. So you start having sort of a relationship and thinking that it's not just there. You need to do something with this, and you need to do something that's responsible and to keep your life sane. So you start being responsible, and then you find out, my goodness, you're not as nervous because nobody's after you because you paid them, and so all right, now you've paid everybody. Now you got this money over here, okay? Now what do I do with that? I don't know what to do with it, so I'm gonna just leave it there till I figure it out. Then you get a little more money and get a little more money, and you say, now what? So you start to learn it. You start to become, I don't want to say an adult, but
you mature
and matured.
There it is.
Responsible.
Yes, being more responsible and feeling better about things, and then things started happening that were positive, that were overwhelming, because you're looking at things in a different manner. You are in control. You make the decisions. You do this. So things start happening. But until you actually know what you want to do, and this is very new, you have to be still, and you have to leave that money kind of over there.
Well,
until you know exactly or how you want to do this. And that's why when you came up with this book and you gave me a call and you talked to me for a while, and I sort of read a little bit. It's not hard to read. It's very easy to read. I said, well, maybe I can do this.
You sure can.
Maybe I can do this. And maybe there are other people who can do this that need a little guidance with money. I remember that this woman got her welfare check, and my girlfriend came over to my house and was very upset with this woman because she worked in a store, and the lady bought a fur coat with her money. And my friend said, how could she buy a fur coat with her money, with her welfare money? How could she do that? Because she doesn't understand. Because she wants to be like everybody else. Right. She wants to feel good about
be validated.
Yes.
Yep.
And so she sacrificed her children and herself to feel good in a society that really didn't accept her or whatever. Mm-hmm. And she in your book said to me, if people understood, that could stop. In a way, if people understood money, mm-hmm. and how to use money and what it could bring to them, it could lower your blood pressure. It could lower your blood pressure. It could make you not be as anxious if you knew how it worked, that you could kind of relax in that you could get in this game too. So that's what your book did for me.
Outstanding. I'm glad.
I'm saying, wow, I could really do this if I, just took some time mm-hmm. and just sort of figured it out. Mm-hmm. So
you gave the timeline of a lot of the youth, a lot of America, a lot of our people, a lot of black people, right? Coming out high school, even college, and not knowing what to do, and being frantic, living paycheck to paycheck, kind of slowing down, and figuring things out. You get a little older, you get more responsibilities, and then you're trying to educate yourself on what's going on. So if you look at the book, and shout out to my graphics guy, Marvin, it's very colorful, right? It's not intimidating. It's slim, and it's meant to help the youth, right? Is meant to attract people, because if I could help in some way, kind of like nip that in the bud, and say, hey, start now. 30 years, you can really be wealthy. Like, you can have a good amount of money to your name. You can kind of like take a step back and, like you said, be still and let this money work for you. Set up that discipline, set up that lifestyle. From then, I'll be happy. Like, the book would serve its purpose, right? So I love for the youth, young people in high school, early 20s to take a look at it. But it's meant for anybody. It helped you, Miss Cleo.
Yes, it did.
And I've been through that process. Like, nobody's perfect. My dad. So with me, my dad brought up investing, and he was always like looking at investing. He said in high school, I don't know what he read or what he saw, but he's like, oh, like, this is how those folks make money. Okay, this is how you get rich right here, or get wealthy. Even through that, and with my curiosity, I love talking about the market. I love looking at economies. I love looking at like political events throughout the world. So it always intrigued me, but still my discipline, exactly, it could have been better, right? And now I'm grown. I'm married with 4 kids, and I'm getting into my good sprint, right? I'm getting my good flow with my finances. So I love to show somebody that, hey, start your good habits early. So it's not a big deal. It's just part of your life. But you got to find out what those good habits are. So just take the time, pick up something to read, go on the internet. You're going to find a lot of different information, but the big thing is you want to be able to take in more money than you spend. Save money for a rainy day, 6 months out to a year, and make that money work for you.
I remember this was several years ago, and Denise Napier was the treasurer for the city of Hartford, and she came to a meeting. I think it was like a high noon. The group used to meet years ago. Anyhow, she was one of the guest speakers, and I asked her, what's the difference between, I think it was rich and being wealthy or something like that. But she said, wealth is the difference between what you spend and what you earn. She kept it real simple. She said, so if you earn $1 an hour and spend 50 cents, then the 50 cents you have left over is your wealth. If you make $1 million a year and spend $1 million in one, you have no wealth. You're broke. So save. Always spend less than you make. And, we live in a society that seems, in my opinion, that, I think Americans in particular are addicted to consumption. They don't even know what they're buying. They're just buying stuff. People just spend, and they spend it. There's this system out there that requires you to transfer your wealth into their pocket. And they come up with all kinds of systems to just get you to consume. And you're consuming and consuming. You don't get anything for it. People buy stuff and 2 weeks later it's on the curb. I saw these 2 guys yesterday. They had to take a break. I don't think the TVs are that heavy. Maybe they were doing something, but it was the biggest TV I'd ever seen. It was coming out of Walmart, and it's like these 2 guys. I said, I don't even know how you're gonna get that in the car. Like what do you do with it? Maybe I said, well, maybe they have a a nightclub or they're putting it in a building or something. Like, what do you do with the TV? It's like
Man cave.
a man cave. You sit there, turn it on, and all your hair pulls toward the screen from the static electricity. You see the lights dim. They don't use that much electricity, but I guess I don't know. It seems to me though we buy a lot of stuff that we don't need. We don't fix things. We throw things away. Very much a disposable society. Just spend. But I'm here to tell you, 30 years goes by very, very quickly. Very quickly. I remember I was working at Pratt & Whitney, and I'd kind of learned the hard way. But I was working at Pratt & Whitney. This is way, 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 way back. 79? Yeah, 79. I was making $10 an hour. $10 an hour. So this was $400 a week. And my rent was $425 a month. In the Richardson downtown. $425 a month. And it seemed like a lot of money. But so I spent, in 1 year you make $25,000, which is not a lot of money now, but back then so I spent every dime. And after 8 years of working at Pratt & Whitney, I had nothing. I had no money in the bank at all. Zero. I was buying anything and everything. I'd buy furniture. I had so much furniture you couldn't even walk in my apartment. I'd buy clothes, shoes, rent a car every weekend, stuff you do when you're young. My first paycheck, I bought $100 worth of Reese cups. Just so I could have them in the house and someone come over and say, hey, you got anything? You want a Reese cup? And I open the drawer and all the drawers had Reese cups in them. And while I'm throwing them in the trash because you can't eat that much Reese cups. It's just ridiculous stuff. Because you don't have it's like play money. Just go out and consume, buy, get a credit card. That was like free money. You max that out, This is just crazy.
Where the kids say, I say, I don't have any money. So take out the card. I said, the card has to have take out the card. You
got to be responsible.
Yes.
You got a lot of young people, just like you said, Stan, that, go from jobs to jobs. But like I tell some of my friends, my family, hey, after you leave that job or, unfortunately, if you get laid off or something like that and you don't have anything to show, you feel like you got played. So you want to say, hey, you guys got my time and my energy and I got something back too. I have my savings. I have something that is going to be for my benefit, not just going to sit out in the curb when I throw it out or, eventually maybe buy a house, certain things that will appreciate and value. You want to be able to say, I gave you this, and this is what I got from what you guys gave me, So it's just about mindset.
It is. Yeah.
It's like a quick little fix, little high, just to get, some clothes or whatever. And I've been there, like I said, but you want to look out for yourself. You're making somebody else a lot of money doing that.
Mm-hmm. So how can people get a copy of your book?
So it is available for pre-order on Amazon now. Again, the title is 02 Invested in Less Than 60 Minutes. You can go to 02invested.com and all my information is there. The link to Amazon is there. I'm going to have it available in certain stores locally, True bookstores, Aquarius, and certain other places. And you can follow me on my social medias, pretty much everywhere: Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and even TikTok at 02invested.com. I mean, at 02invested.
So go over that one more time.
02invested.com.
02invested.com.
The link to purchase the book on Amazon is right there. And the digital version is available for pre-order.
All right.
And 7/11, July 11th is the release date for the physical copies.
Oh, okay.
And digital.
So are you going to have a release party?
That would be nice.
you know, sign copies or go somewhere and do that.
Nothing planned yet,
Uh-huh.
but I'm open for suggestions. If somebody would have me, feel free to reach out to me. You can reach out to me at any of my social media. Again, it's at 02invested, or actually have an email address associated with the book. It's contact@02invested.com. So I would love to, it's, like I said, schools, different facilities. If you have me, I'd love to be there.
All right, cool. All right, we'll take a short break. Do a cue this up here, and then we'll be right back. Dominic, give him one more time phone number or contact one more time. That way.
My cell is 860-680-7874. Email address, you can use the book email address is contact@02invested.com. And my social media, you can just at me at 02invested.
All right. Very good. All right, we'll take a short break. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back. It's Morning Talk.
Hey, Hartford, Connecticut, I'm talking to you.
I'm Corrine Blake, resident of Asylum Hill, and if I were the mayor of Hartford, I'd make sure that everyone in the education system knew about the community in which they work, the city in which they work. Because once you know about it, you begin to value the city and you begin to serve in that fashion. I'm really very passionate about education. I'm an early childhood educator, and so I wouldn't be doing any playing around with programming and getting help to the people who work in these areas. It has to be focused, well formatted, and supported. So that's like my biggest thing, because as my mother taught us many years ago in Jamaica, once you have education, that's one thing no man can take away from you. You may lose your money, you may lose your property, but once you are well educated, no one can take that from you. And if you have that, then we can build a viable city. Thank you.
Look at your city, stop, take a look around.
every bad political decision is made by a politician elected to office. So if you think your vote doesn't matter, just remember this. There are people sitting with politicians in a back room making deals about your future, making policies about your children, making decisions about your neighborhood. To them, you are just a vote. You are not their cause. You are just a vote. Elections have consequences, and if you don't vote, you are actually voting to keep these people in power to work against you. Now more than ever, you need to make your vote count. It's time to clear the air and vote for a mayor that is unbought, unbossed, trusted, and accountable to you, the constituent. My name is J. Stan McCauley, and I am an independent thinker, and I approve this message. I'm asking you for your vote on Tuesday, September the 12th, 2023, in the Democratic Party primary election for mayor of the city of Hartford. For more information, visit McCauleyformayor.com. Have the courage to vote your conscience and vote for the name you trust and know. Vote J. Stan McCauley for mayor.
Hi,
My name's J. Stan McCauley.
I'm Naisha McCauley, and you're watching AccessTV.org.
All right, my friends, welcome back. It's Morning Talk. There, I can't hear much. What's going on? There we go. Oh, there we go. All right. Studio volume is down. Is my mic on? There we go. Jay Hogarth in the background. I could listen to this all day long. Yeah. Professor. All right. There we go. Welcome back. All right, it's Friday.
It's Friday.
End of the week. You got anything planned for this weekend?
No, I just need to take my husband to put his feet in some water.
Mm-hmm.
So we were thinking about where to go because I can't put him in the pool. I don't know how to get him in the pool. And so I said, well, we can't go in the pool, so we have to find a place where you could just walk into the water.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we wanted to go to one of these parks here, but we were thinking of Quasi, but someone said it's $40 per person to get in there. I guess plus parking. That's a lot for me anyway. So I think we're gonna go probably up toward New Hartford. to the park. Let him put his feet in some water and have a picnic or whatever. So we'll do that, and I'll keep on with practicing for my program on the 13th.
Mm-hmm. All right. Yeah, I think they have a fireworks Sunday.
Oh, are they?
I think it's Sunday.
I
Sunday
saw
or Saturday.
fireworks from the building the other day. Was it somebody was?
No, those are the neighborhood fireworks.
But I mean, they were fire. I don't know where they were.
They weren't in Hartford.
No.
Oh.
No, I don't.
Oh, you
think,
must be high.
No, I'm not. I'm on the 11th floor. The 12th floor. I'm on the 11th floor.
See, I'm not that high. I'm only on the second floor from the top. You're a penthouse suite. You're a penthouse height. 11. So you look at? Do you overlook toward East Hartford or West Hartford?
West Hartford. I could see like downtown. I mean, it's that way.
So you could see downtown Hartford.
I could see the tops of buildings and
Right. So can
way.
you see the Travelers Tower? Or the Gold
No.
Building or
No, I can't. I see something that looks like a steeple.
Oh, that
looks like
could be St. Joseph's.
No,
The
because St.
cathedral.
St. Joseph's would be over that way, and I'm over that way. So this is far away.
So when you look
Far
out your
away.
window,
I can see the highway. I don't know, and I see a highway, but it's
can you see the Capitol?
not the top of it. No.
So you're facing east.
I could because
Yeah, or else if you
Farmington
were facing west, because your building faces. Oh, wait a minute. Is your building an L shaped or it's flat?
So, no, it's not.
It's
flat.
L-shaped.
It's right.
Oh, so some of your building faces south, north, and then the other faces east, west.
Yes.
Oh, so you could be facing any one of
So if you're on Farmington Avenue,
Yep.
Woodland Street and Farmington
Yep.
Avenue, I could see that from my window. So go
Oh,
straight
Woodland and Farmington. Oh,
across.
so you're out your window. You could see the Mark Twain house.
Yeah, way.
Mark Twain. You're
Yeah.
facing Hartford High. Oh, I know how you're facing. So you're facing south.
I could be.
You're facing south.
I could. Yeah. I
Yeah.
think so.
You're facing south, so you wouldn't see travelers.
No.
For some reason, I'm thinking your building only faces east west.
No, not.
But if you're in the L part that faces north south,
Right.
so you're on the south side of the building, facing. Yeah, so that's down near the south end, Park Street south end, down that way and into Rocky Hill, down.
Yeah, that could.
Yeah, those are. You're seeing neighborhood. Now, neighborhood fireworks around here are quite spectacular.
Well, that's probably what I'm seeing.
Yeah, that's what you're seeing. Yeah, because you can't see Bushnell Park.
No.
Yeah, well, Bushnell Park is where the fireworks are going to be. The
You don't think
Bonanza.
Oh. See, I'm in the front of the building. On my side, you see the parking lot, the guest parking lot. You've been there.
Yes.
Where the guests park in the front and you go in the front door.
Yeah.
I'm above that. And
Oh,
straight ahead.
okay. Yeah. Yes. Okay.
So that's
Okay.
south.
Yeah, you're facing south.
So
You're facing south.
yeah, I know. I don't see the pool. I'm not.
Okay, the pool's on the back side.
Yeah, I don't
That's
see that.
facing west.
West. Yeah, no, I don't see the pool.
Yeah, toward West Hartford. Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Okay. But you're up high.
Yes.
You get a nice view.
Yes, it's a nice view.
It's not like the people. The lessers on the first floor. I'm just
I
joking.
don't know why I'm up there. That, but it's a nice view, and I can see the mountains and mountains and stuff.
Oh yeah, you can see the mountains from over there. Yeah. So yeah. The higher up you go in the building, the more prestigious.
Oh well, there's only one floor higher than me.
Well,
12 floors.
To be on the 11th floor is one floor below the 12th floor. To be on the 11th floor is to be on the 12th floor.
Well, that's what.
Yeah, so it's the 11th and 12th floors, or the top floors of the building are always.
Are always distinguished.
Yeah, they're always distinguished. Just like the closer you get to the stage when you go to the movie, well, not the movie, but like the theater. If you go to the Bushnell or someplace like that, or even the Civic Center, the closer you get to the front, the more elite you are. People feel special.
I was offered one with a balcony, but I had seen this one first, and it was a lower price in it. So and the other one wasn't that high either, but I kept thinking someone's gonna fall over the balcony. I don't know why I thought that. My husband's gonna stumble and fall over. I said no, I don't want to. But now I wish I had it. Mm-hmm. Some people have their balconies so nice.
Yeah, balconies are always nice. Although I'm right there with you. I don't want the window. I don't mind having the windows open, but floor to ceiling type windows at that height. What happened to him? He jumped. I was pushed. You were jump.
Yeah, I said, oh no, that's
no,
all right.
No.
But I got into the in the parking garage, which is nice.
All right.
Nice to just go down and.
The garage is nice. I remember when I lived downtown, I had you come out of the garage into the snow. You don't have to go out to the parking lot and get the snow off the car.
Right.
And
So we thought of that when we were offered it, and I said, nah, we don't want it. And then I thought about it for a while. And I thought, hey, that I could get him in the car in the garage. I can do this snow stuff. So I said, okay, we'll figure out. Mm-hmm. We'll manage it. So I said, okay.
Yeah.
So it's really nice. Someone asked me today, how do you like the place? But it is enclosed.
It's enclosed. You mean the garage, or what do you mean?
The whole place you're enclosed like in a hotel or something. You're enclosed. It's not like being in a house. You're in.
Well, you're in every house has rooms. So if you're in a room, it doesn't really matter whether you're in a tall building or a cottage.
When I first got there, I felt a little claustrophobic. Not in the apartment, but in the it just seemed like a closed off thing. But
I've never been to your unit or anything, but I've been in the building before, and I've visited someone in their actually I've never been inside. That's not true. I have been inside a unit there. But I'm thinking more across the street from you. That was actually quite nice because they had 2 floors in there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And across at the
what's that across the street? Is that the Regency?
The Regency. Yeah.
I've been there. They have two floors. So there's a.
Oh.
Yeah, they're literally entrance on the upper and a lower floor, but it's like a 2-story unit, and you can see it was really nice.
Oh, and they have like a spiral staircase.
Mm-hmm. Oh. Old school, 60s stuff, Oh. Yeah, so the penthouse at the Richardson, the Richardson building. There's one penthouse in the Richardson. It has 2 floors. 2 floors. It's the corner. The corner unit
has 2 floors.
There's 2, maybe even 3. I remember because I went and I looked at it. I actually considered moving in there, but it was part of that foolish spending of money. Mm-hmm. It was $950 a month, which is in today's rates, that's laughably cheap. Mm-hmm. But it was $950 a month, which was really pushing the envelope because that would be like 2 weeks' pay. And you're not supposed to spend. You could spend up to. When I went to school, we had what they called consumer English. Like you could take an elective. Mm-hmm. And our elective was consumer English. So they taught you, the rules and things. This was high school. And we had civics too.
Yeah, we had
civics, but consumer English. So like the golden rule was 1/4 of your paycheck
goes to rent.
No, well, does go to rent, but you saved 1/4.
Oh.
1/4 of your paycheck saved. So that would be like 1 week out of the month should be saved. Or 1/4 of whatever you brought home should go in the bank. The other thing was you could afford up to 2 weeks gross for your rent. Your rent should never exceed that. So I thought, as long as my rent is in the ballpark of like 1 week, that would give me some extra money. And the extra money for me wasn't to save. It was to spend. But I always liked I was of the mindset, have a nice apartment. Because when I was younger, I just wanted to be I wanted my own place more than anything in the world. I grew up at a really nice house. It's not like I wanted to leave home. I wanted my own place. That's all. I couldn't wait
to get your own
to have my own place. That's all I ever, as a kid, that's what I wanted. I wanted my own place. I could get up whenever I want to. I could sleep when I want to. I could cook when I want to. I could do whatever I want to do because it's mine. Independence, So I when I got here, I was so happy because I had my own place, and then I wanted it to be really, really nice because my studio would not reflect me being a neat freak, but
you are.
I'm a neat freak.
Oh
yeah.
Well, I'm telling you, I'm trying to be a neat freak.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying, and I pray. I said, Lord, I say this, Lord, I'm not neat. I'm not naturally neat. I work at it. Mm-hmm. I said, and so please help me. Please help me. I'm afraid of doing things in a house because I didn't ever do them. I'm afraid of hanging the pictures on the wall.
Really?
Because I can't.
As you can see in here, there's no fear of hanging stuff on the wall.
That's because I can't see anything straight. And everything I remember putting pictures up, and they were always crooked. Even if I used a ruler or string.
Or a level.
They always crooked. I said, somebody's got to hang my pictures. I want them nice. But I should hang my own pictures. But I said I can't hang a picture. Can't put up curtains right. Never could put up Venetian blinds right. They always fell. So I said, well, at this age, maybe somebody will do it for me. My girlfriend does everything. She just makes me so sick. She does everything. She could do anything. But I said, should I try it? And every time I go home, I said, should I try it today? Put a picture up. Just try to put. But I get nervous. You'd be surprised at little stupid things people get nervous about.
Well, we're all of us get nervous about doing certain things.
Yeah, those are the things that
It's just different. There's different things we're nervous about doing. Depends on who we are.
So I said, all right. And I won't let anyone do it in my house because I said, oh, no, you won't do it. Right. I had my husband put up pictures one time. Mm-hmm. Oh, my goodness. One was like this. But I wanted them like even. Mm-hmm. And they weren't. So I won't let him do it.
Now, when you say you want the pictures even, you would like the top of the frames to be all the same place or the center of the frames to be? This
was, you say that, and I only look at the top of the frames and the bottom of the frames. I don't look at the center of the frames. And if I want them, I only look at frames. I might want one here, mm-hmm. And one there, but I want the frames to be, mm-hmm. equally apart. And I see some, your pictures are very nicely put on the wall.
Well, they're equidistant one from the other, but yeah, I've kind of let my office go. I've been so busy I haven't had a chance to get up in here, but that's probably for the better because I will obsess over the room easy.
Will you obsess over hanging the pictures?
I could, I would, I'm in a place right now that I'm okay with what it is. There's some things that are crooked, but this has turned into a workspace. Where did I go? I was at a big time recording studio. I won't say who I was in the studio with, but Ron Howard was coming out of the studio when we went in. And so it's here in Connecticut, the lower part of the state. This is a big time studio. And it was in that studio that I determined it's okay for the studio not to be like super, super neat. Now, the control room was really nice and it was really neat, but the space was a working studio space. And so, the amps are there. It's a functioning place. Mm-hmm. Like a garage would be for your car. There are some garages that are pristine, but the garages where work gets done,
Right.
And so this is the same kind of concept. It's just that we do TV and productions and all kinds of stuff are here. All my equipment is in here now, and so it's just it's a space where I do what I do. And once I got my head around that, because here's one of the top flight studios in the country, and it is and it was nice, but but you got the sense you're in a working space. And I could wrap my head around that because I float between the working space and the really knock out fabulous kind of thing. And so I had to dial it back.
Oh, when I
have to dial it back.
Got into my unit, I had all these wonderful dreams, and then I brought my family in. And that dream went totally out the window.
Like smoke.
Like poof. And so it's a living space. Well, I mean, it's a living space, and it's okay. They do the few things that I want done, that I want to keep neat, and they do that for me, and that's good. And I said, I want this to be neat, and you have to eat over there, and they basically do that. And I thought I was gonna really And my husband's my husband. It's my husband. It's whether he's over here or over there. So I didn't change anything as far as eating habits. And so I think it was last week. I said, "Oh well, this is where we live.
There we go.
We're gonna do the best we can with this, but I still need to get my pictures on the wall and they like dark. I don't like dark.
They like the dark?
They don't like to open up
the windows.
The blinds and let the light. I said it's morning. Yeah. It's morning. The sun is out, and I'm gonna bring in the light.
Yeah.
So I did.
That's a golden rule to me.
Yeah.
Don't sit in an office with the windows with the blinds drawn. You have to let the sunlight in your room or in the house. Otherwise, you'll be depressed. Sunlight keeps you from being depressed. You gotta let the sun in. But at nighttime, though, like our house, like these lights on the ceiling. Mm-hmm. If I turn these lights on, it gets so bright in here. It's just ridiculous. We have those lights everywhere. We never use them. Ever. We call it the ugly lights. And we warn. I'm going to turn on ugly light, so even the kids. Because you may need to look for some. But after that, you turn off the ugly light. Because we like accent lighting. So. Yeah. But at night. But during the day, open the windows and let some light in.
And let the light in. I had brown curtains at the other place, insulated curtains, because the heat, for heat. And they wanted to keep them closed all the time, so it was always dark. I said no, so I put up shears so they can't shut out the light in the living room, but in the bedroom he can shut out the light. And I just opened them up. I said it's daytime. We are not gonna sit in a dark room. Who wants to sit in a dark room? I said I'm not sitting in a dark room.
No. Don't sit in a dark room. Open the lights. Open up the windows. Let the sun come in. Let the sun come into the room. Now, this room here, of course, we have to control the amount of sun that comes in because of productions. Mm-hmm. But even today, like I had the little window open a little bit. It messes up with the lighting, but
you gotta let some light. You ever go into a person's house and the whole place is dark?
Dark.
The windows. This is the daytime. The windows are closed. The curtains are shut. Everything is dark in there, and you invite people into this dark.
Like a dungeon.
Yes.
Deprivation chamber.
I don't like it at all.
Like a public school. No sunlight.
Yes. Well, in the day they had windows in the schools, and it was bright in the schoolrooms.
Should be. Yes.
The windows were clear, and I don't understand why anyone wants to sit in the dark.
Well,
when I want to sleep, I want to.
We're out of time,
Pardon?
We're out of time.
What time is it?
It's almost 10. Yeah, because we got a hard stop at 10 because there's another program coming on right after at 10. It's already programmed, so we got to go.
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. Then I have to say goodbye. Yeah. I hate to say goodbye. You know that. But I have to go take care of my lady, too, today.
All right, my friends. Special thanks to our guests that joined us today. And we will see you all next time. Have a great rest of your day and a great weekend. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.